Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at some of the more obscure lore throughout the Zelda series that some players may be unaware of. Of course, with something as long-running and popular as this, there's a chance you've heard some, if not all, of these factoids before. But for the most part, we're focusing on interesting bits of world building that slip through the cracks and go unnoticed by the majority of players.
So, spill it, boy. Have the two of you been getting along all right?
But before we dive in, we publish new content all week long. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Midna's Helmet. The fan-favorite companion, Midna from Twilight Princess, has a pretty unique design. Part of it is the stone helm she wears, which is part of the larger Fused Shadow, an ancient magical artifact of her people, the Twilight. The stone's left eye carving, which covers her own, bears a striking resemblance to the eyes of Majora's Mask. However, on the helmet's backside is a carving of a different eye, one linked to the Sheikah, the tribe that serves Hyrule's royal family. There have been some interesting fan theories about how the Twilight, the Sheikah, and the mysterious tribe that worshipped the evil Majora's Mask could be connected. While theories aren't concrete lore, the fact that this artifact seems to connect them all can't be refuted.
It has been quite a long time, Link. I am much older now, but you remember me, don't you?
The Missing Links. Link's spirit is reborn across several timelines and many different games, and for the most part, we've seen and played as each of them. However, there are a handful of them we've only heard about. While Link from Skyward Sword is the first version of the hero in-game, he's not exactly the first. In that game's lore, the goddess Hylia had her own version of the hero long in the past. Much like Zelda is Hylia reborn in mortal form, Link is the reincarnation of this hero, who we've only seen in non-canonical manga. We also glimpse another version of Link during the prologue of the Minish Cap. We learn the Picori, or Minish, gifted a sword and the Light Force to a hero, who used them to defeat monsters plaguing Hyrule. Then there's the ancient hero in Breath of the Wild's lore. Notably, this was a Zonai, so it's unclear if it was a version of Link. But since he appeared to stop Ganon and teamed up with a Hylian princess that was probably Zelda, we felt we should include him.
So listen closely as I tell you of this legend that occurred 10,000 years ago.
A most wanted man. Now, for a fun one. The hidden village in Twilight Princess was once the original Kakariko village, proven by translating the Hylian text on the sign that sits at its entrance. And apparently, this village once had a major problem with a wanted criminal. You can find posters around town of a goateed man that read "Wanted," followed by the reward of 1 quadrillion rupees. Naturally, you never learn who this guy was, what he did, or if he was ever caught. But that insane amount of money means he must have been pretty awful. Can you imagine a villain so vile his axe can rival even Ganondorf's? Because that's what that sum of money tells us. The Ocarina of Time's origins. In Ocarina of Time, the titular instrument is said to be a precious item passed down within the royal family. While we don't know the history behind its creation, we do know the material it's made from and why it lets Link travel in time. The book Hyrule Historia hints that it is made from the same material as time shift stones, seen in Skyward Sword. Whenever Link activates one of these, it produces an aura, where everything within it travels back in time. It's not something we particularly wondered about, but it still makes for a nice connection between games, and completely fits with why the Ocarina is used as a key to the Gate of Time and the Master Sword. The two Zeldas. Since their spirits are reincarnated across games, there's usually only one Link and one Zelda in each game. Usually, but not always. In Zelda 2, which takes place not long after the first, we're told of the quote-unquote original Zelda, who was cursed with endless sleep by her jealous brother long ago. But at the end of the game, Link cures her. So, since it is a direct sequel, that means there are then two Zeldas in existence at once. This brings up all kinds of questions. If every Zelda is a reincarnation, how can two coexist? And what does this mean for governing Hyrule's people? Obviously, this plotline was created long before Nintendo thought about a timeline or reincarnation, but it's still an interesting sort of paradox that isn't often brought up. Termina's Triforce. We don't want to get into exactly what Termina is, but there's a lot of intrigue when it comes to the setting's religion. There are the four guardian deities that are worshipped, as well as a goddess of time who is mentioned several times, which most fans have accepted to be Hylia before she was given a name. However, if that is Hylia, you'd think there'd be some mention or reference to the Golden Goddesses, Din, Furore, and Nehru, who created Hyrule and the Triforce. While it can be seen on Link's shield, which he starts the game with, there's only one area in Termina that features the holiest of triangles. There are pillars seen on the way to Ikana Canyon, as well as cube-shaped statues in that area's stone tower that depict faces with outstretched tongues, holding the Triforce at the end. In the case of those at the stone tower, the tongue extends to their underside, hiding the Triforce unless you look at them from below. Some fans have theorized this as an insult to the goddesses. Regardless, it only showing up in the Land of the Dead is a unique choice. One Lucky Guard. At Hyrule's entrance in Ocarina of Time, you can find a lone soldier inside a guardhouse surrounded by pots. Speaking to him during the day, he'll complain out of boredom, wishing that there were more troubles in the world. However, speak to him at night, and he'll talk about his passion for studying ghosts. Well, 7 years in the future, and it looks like this guy got exactly what he wanted. Not only is the town demolished by Ganondorf, but upon revisiting the guardhouse in the future, Link meets the creepy Poe Collector, who's completely unbothered by the state of things. The nighttime dialogue is easier to miss, so some players may not have pieced together that these two NPCs are one and the same. Gerudo Ears. Get ready for a deep dive into Gerudo anatomy. No, not that anatomy. Get your mind out of the gutter. When the tribe first appeared in Ocarina of Time, they were noticeably different from Hylians, primarily in their dark skin and the fact that all but one of them were female. Another difference was their ears. Where Gerudo had round ears, Hylians had pointed elf-like ones, which were said to let them hear messages from the gods. However, fast forward to Breath of the Wild, and it seems the Gerudo's overwhelming genes that lead most of them to be women aren't as strong in other areas.
The night brings a chill. It's probably time we take her in. Or...
A few Gerudo NPCs have much lighter skin, brought about by breeding with Hylians to keep the race alive. But all of them now have pointed ears. This was actually explained in the companion book, Creating a Champion. Some Gerudo believe this change in anatomy was brought about by centuries of relationships with Hylian men. Others believe it came from their shame over Ganondorf, with their pointed ears opening them up to receive messages from the Hylian deities.
Unfortunately, I cannot appease Naboris on my own. I have no choice but to entrust the rest to you.
The mysterious Fado. Fado is a minor NPC surrounded by mystery. In Ocarina of Time, she's a Kokiri who warns about the dangers of the Lost Woods. And she even takes unnerving glee at the fact that anyone other than the Kokiri who enter this place end up losing their minds and turning into Stalfos. Famously, a wind temple was scrapped during the game's development. Since Fado has a unique character model, the forest medallion bears a wind-like design, and the forest room in Ganon's tower features wind-based obstacles, many speculate she was the sage for this scrapped dungeon before Saria the forest sage was created. Then you have the Wind Waker. In that game, the Korok Makar awakens as the Wind Sage, taking over from the previous one, a Kokiri boy, also named Fado. There are many characters named after previous ones, but it isn't usually as blatant as two members of the same race sharing the exact same name. Furthermore, the official strategy guide from Prima states Wind Waker's Fado was a close friend to the Hero of Time. Is this unintended trans representation? Maybe. The closer connection between the two NPCs makes this seem like something more than an homage. Ganon reincarnated. While Zelda and Link are reborn at multiple points in time, Ganon's deal is different. Canonically, his first appearance is in Ocarina of Time. Every other time he shows up, across the different timelines, is just the same version of him having found some way to be resurrected, either as a man or a beast. The exception, other than Tears of the Kingdom, which is disconnected from the timelines, is Four Swords Adventures, the GameCube multiplayer title. This version of Ganon is actually a reincarnation within the Gerudo tribe. You may think this is just Demise's curse at play, but it also ties in with dialogue that, for whatever reason, was cut from Ganondorf's final speech in Twilight Princess. Upon defeat, he would have originally threatened that those born with the crests of the goddesses, like Link and Zelda, would also have to contend with one of his blood. Of course, the game set after Twilight Princess in the child timeline is Four Swords Adventures. Are there any obscure pieces of lore from Zelda that fascinate you? Drop some knowledge down in the comments.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.